Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the World Cup preview. So today we have Group F, starting with Germany.
Yeah, and we don't know where to start. Their strengths are so
Crazy.
unbelievably crazy.
Right.
Forward lineup, their midfield, and their defense. Okay, let's start with the forward lineup. They've got Muller, they've got Mario Gomez, who's as good as anyone in that position, and they've got Marco Reus, who finally got his chance to come to the World Cup. And moving back, we've got defense. We've got midfield. We've got Khedira. We've got Cruz. We've got Ozil. We've got who else am I missing? I'm pretty sure no one else. Draxler. Whoever. They've got so
It's
many.
such a. There's so many people in this team that we can actually form three whole different teams out of these guys. It's crazy. There's so many amazing players here, and you even their goalkeepers. You've Manuel Neuer, Kevin Trapp, Mark Andre Ter Stegen. Literally, you can three number one goalkeepers for three different teams. Just it's crazy. This team, it's how strong it is, and we just cannot overstate the strength of this football team and how well established they are and have been over long periods of time.
And
So,
when we were talking about France not taking the final step, Germany did in 2014. They did win the
yep.
World Cup, so they do know how to win. If
Mhm.
there was going to be probably one weakness or a couple of weaknesses, it's got to be the first one is probably not Manuel Neuer just coming back from injury. Is he match fit completely? Can they rely on him? But why fear? You've got Ter Stegen, who's number one at Barcelona, so you've
Yep.
got a adequate replacement. The other one is probably the lack of a strong man, a leader like Bastian Schweinsteiger, Philipp Lahm. You still have leaders. You've got Manuel Neuer, you've got Hummels or Boateng in defense, you've got Muller and Khedira, Cruz in midfield. You've got people with really strong personalities, but that leadership role that Bastian Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, there was somebody who takes a stick and beats also like, hey, run, start putting in more effort. That one may be a little lacking, but that's only relatively speaking. Even still, this is a great team.
Yeah,
So I would say, who do you call your star player? Who would you say it is?
I well, you can't look beyond Muller, who's done so well in the World Cup. You
Mhm.
say it's the World Cup, and he performs like Ronaldo does in the Champions League. So I think that's his time to shine. Him and Ozil are probably the star players. Uh, but I really want one player to stand out, and that's Marco Reus.
Yeah, for sure. I would completely agree. I personally would say Marco Reus is my star player. He's the one that I like the most from this team. Somebody who I really wanted at United. Hopefully, I mean, sadly that couldn't get done. Well, and it's just so happy to see him take his place where he belongs in the World Cup, in the biggest stages of all. So next we have Mexico. Such a great team. Mexico, yeah, such a great team. It's great to see them here again, and I would say their strength is gotta be their focal point of attack. The great Manchester United graduate or stepping stone, Javier Hernandez, Chicharito,
Chicharito,
just
yeah,
such a enthusiastic and such a great energy about the guy, and I think that actually it just spills on to the other players. So I think that there's a lot to love about this team, and a lot, especially focusing on the attack.
yeah. Their
What about
attack,
the
even with
strengths?
like Carlos Vela and Hector Herrera behind, the Dos Santos brothers, Jonathan and
Mhm.
Giovanni, their midfield and forward lineup is quite interesting and threatening. However, in defense, they are quite weak. I don't think there's a standout defender that I can say, oh my god, he's so good. Hector Moreno is okay. Ayala is decent, but
Yeah,
there's no one that I can single out in defense. Goalkeeper is decent as well. Ochoa,
right. Who would you say is your star player for the team?
I would have to say Chicharito. I
There you
love
go.
the way he scores his goals. The way he pops up in the last minute from nowhere and he
Mhm.
heads it in, or he uh, taps in the ball. I mean, that's something that United kind of missed when he left, and
Yeah,
I always
that instinct that in that box, right? Yeah, definitely.
and I still think he's a huge threat to any side.
Definitely. My star player, you would have thought I would have said Chicharito, but I'm gonna say Guillermo Ochoa or the Mexican Ted Mosby. he is my star player, especially after he finally met the mom. Moving on, we now have Sweden, the not Ibrahimovic team. That's nice. It's very interesting to see Sweden play without him. So,
Yeah,
what do you think?
I think they're gonna miss him. Especially the experience and the clinical finishing that he brought to the team. I think they're gonna miss him. He is a player that they should have moved mountains and rocks to kind of get him back to the national team. He was willing to, so I don't see why not.
Right. I guess. I mean, if you'd call that a weakness, no. I mean, I would, being the devil's advocate, I would argue that it's actually a strength. It's something that we found at United too, especially with Ibra aging so much. He's such a big personality that the team tends to focus around him. He becomes the person that everybody gets the ball to and he creates. And because of that, the team has to adapt a little bit. So it becomes about him and the personalities of others and the abilities of others get subdued a little bit. The good thing about Sweden that they can get to do now is that instead of being that individual team, it can become a collective. Now people get to rely on each other more and have to develop their own strengths. And it has been good in the long term, and it is good, I think, especially considering this point in Ibra's career after his injury and after his complete decline in pace and ability. So I definitely would argue that this is a better thing for Sweden. I think that covers our strengths and weaknesses of Sweden. What do you think is going to be a star player in this collective?
So I think it's going to be the Leipzig midfielder Emil Forsberg. Now with Zlatan not there, and like you said, it's going to be a more team effort, and it's you need that creative spark, that little edge in midfield. And I think Forsberg has done well in Leipzig in the Bundesliga. I can't see why not in the international arena. He has all of the abilities, the technique to kind of succeed. So yeah,
Right. Yeah, I would agree too. I mean, I guess Guidetti might receive an honorable mention, but screw that guy. Uh, when now we have the final four team, we have South Korea or uh, the Song Hyung Mun team, right? The Son Hyung Min team instead of Harry Kane team. That's
or
what.
it could also be called Sun Korea.
No, no.
uh,
Okay. So yeah, I think one of the biggest strengths is definitely got to be how fast and how pacey their attacking lineup is. Son Heung-min is just such an amazing player. He can play in so many different positions, and yeah, just like him, you've got other people who have that great pace.
yeah,
Uh,
but they're gonna miss. I think the couple of players who got injured prior to the World Cup, and that kind of adds more pressure when you have injuries to such crucial players. It kind of adds more pressure to the only crucial player that's left, that's Son, and it's going to be interesting to see whether he can actually cope up with that pressure. He's done so well this season for Spurs,
yep.
so if he can take that carry on that momentum to the international stage, and for South Korea, he could be really vital. He does pose a
Yeah,
threat.
definitely. Like he did step up when Harry Kane had been injured for Spurs. So I think that shows a lot of promise. So I guess it goes without saying that we both agree that the star player is going to be Son.
Yeah.
So perfect. Then let's go on to the predictions. Who's your top four, Brady?
Well, Germany has to be number one. I don't think
Mm,
I would dispute that. You would dispute that. The Germans
no,
would not dispute that.
no,
The English who hate them will not dispute that.
no.
Uh, so Germany as number one,
Mhm,
definitely that team. Uh, and second's going to be interesting. I think Mexico have a chance over Sweden,
mhm.
just because Sweden are trying out something new, playing collectively without the Zlatan focal point.
Right.
It'll take time to adapt.
It's a gamble. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
and Korea, don't. I mean, too much of reliance on Sun. I really don't see it happening. But
mhm.
Mexico are a really good side.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree on that sense too. I take Germany number one, Mexico. I like you said. I have the same arguments, and I would agree that yeah, that makes sense why Mexico is number two. Between Sweden and South Korea, I mean, it's such a tough thing to say between actually Mexico, Sweden, South Korea. But I guess between the third and fourth spot, I'm just gonna guess and say let's have South Korea number three and Sweden number four.
I'm okay with
Hey, bro.
that.
Anyway, it was great. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully, we'll catch you again for the preview for the next group, Group G. Exciting times. Catch you later. Bye bye.